Part 65. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 641. After exchanging greetings, people on both sides separated. Mu Ziyi accompanied Zhang Xinyuan upstairs to pick up the piano, and Guyan accompanied Ning Yue to continue picking the piano on the first floor. This piano store is a century-old brand. It not only sells pianos, but also provides maintenance and repair services. The famous piano maker in the store only makes 5 pianos a year, and each piano can be sold for a high price of more than 100,000. If it is auctioned, the price is more expensive. The clerk brought them to the VIP room, and then brought Zhang Xinyuan's piano, auditioned it on the spot, and then rewrapped it. The guqin is very heavy, and Wang Zilong is holding it the whole time. Wang Zilong took this opportunity and said to Zhang Xinyuan, "Xinyuan, I'll accompany you next time for such a heavy thing." Just Zhuangjia's thin arms are not as thick as the strings of a piano, so they can't hold them at all. Zhuangjia immediately said, "Next time? Are you cursing Xinyuan's piano to break again?" Wang Zilong was deflated again, wishing to tear Zhuangjia up, but Zhuangjia was Zhang Xinyuan's good friend, so Wang Zilong could only shut up resentfully. They ran into Guyan and Ning Yue again downstairs. The top of the piano is made of high-quality paulownia wood, real ancient lacquer, and the grey body is made of antler cream. The sound of this kind of guqin is soft and round, and it will not be a problem even if it is used for hundreds of years. The clerk in the piano shop, Xiang Ning Yue, recommended it with all her heart. Ning Yue also seemed quite satisfied. She nodded slightly, her demeanor was elegant and dignified. Her eyes fluttered and she saw Mu Ziyi and her friends coming over, also holding the qin in their hands. She couldn't help asking, "What kind of qin are you guys using?" Zhang Xinyuan glanced at the violin that the clerk was packing, knowing that it was very expensive, and shyly said, "My violin is just an ordinary practice violin." "Why don't you buy a better one?" Ning Yue smiled softly. "The better the piano, the better the mood of the player. I have only been a beginner for a few years, and I want to buy a good piano after I have mastered my skills, so as not to disappoint the violinist's hard work." Zhang Xinyuan said. Jiang's family is Qingliu, not a wealthy family that spends a lot of money. Zhang Xinyuan's answer is reasonable, but somehow Ning Yue is provoked. The smile on Ning Yue's face was still there, but her eyes turned cold for a moment. At this time, the clerk had already packed the guqin. Ning Yue smiled politely at them, and left with Guyan. The Bugatti Veyron outside the store was indeed Guyan's car. Guyan carefully put the piano in the back seat, and then drove Ning Yue away. Mu Ziyi and his party were all puzzled. "Miss Ning has a really big temper." Zhuangjia and the others left, and said unhappily, "It seems like someone from Jingling is superior to others." Zhang Xinyuan felt a little uncomfortable when he was put on face. "Look at how the second young master behaves, this Ms. Ning should have quite a background." Wang Zilong was careless, he didn't see the change of Ning Yue's expression just now. He just urged, "Let's go too, this piano is so heavy." He couldn't hold it anymore. Everyone glanced at Wang Zilong with contempt, walked out of the piano shop together, and got into the car. "I might know who this Ning Yue is." Zhuangjia got into the car and gossiped with them. "Didn't Shao just say that her uncle is a senator? I heard that Sidhu's family might have a relationship with her. The Gu family is married, so her uncle must be Sidhu Yan." Wang Zilong asked, "Who is Sidhu Yan?" "Oh my God, don't you even read the news?" "The popular candidate for the president," Zhuangjia said with a chuckle. "Yes, of course you don't know, your school is isolated from the world, haha." Wang Zilong snorted. Zhang Xinyuan smiled and said, Jia, I thought you were only chasing stars, so you still care about current affairs." "I usually don't care, but this Sidhu Yan is quite handsome," Zhuangjia said with a smile. "I even voted for him, because he looks a bit like Mu Ziyi, and I feel kind in my eyes." "Really? I'll vote for him later. Zhang Xinyuan smiled. Both of them had turned 18 and could vote in the general election. Wang Zilong, who was driving in the front, was speechless. Does the election of a president also depend on face? Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 642. The problem is, you can't even see something like strength. Zhuang Jia shrugged with a smile, so why not choose a handsome one? The resumes of those who participated in the election are naturally beautiful and almost perfect, and it is difficult to find flaws. Since they are all excellent, let's see who has the best looks. This is Zhuang Jia's logic. Zhang Xinyuan asked them, second young master Gu celebrates his birthday on Saturday, shall we go? Although he was invited in person, he was not very familiar with Zhang Xinyuan after all, and Zhang Xinyuan was not the kind of person to join in the fun, so he was a little hesitant. Zhuang Jia immediately hugged Zhang Xinyuan's arm. Go, go, Gu Shao's birthday party will definitely invite many celebrities, and my mother will also go. If you don't go, I will be bored by myself. Wang Zilong said, if you go, I will go too. Mu Zi smiled and said, then let's go together anyway. The birthday party is only for one night, and it will not delay her usual study. In this way, the four of them will go to Gu's family for a banquet together. A few days later it was Gu Yan's birthday party. Mu Zi went to Gu's house by car, thinking, if Murong Chen knows that I'm going to another man's birthday party, and going out at night, will he be mad? Murong Chen's jealousy is not so strong, and he is particularly domineering and unreasonable. Mu Zi feels deeply about this. Her state of mind is also weird. Every time Murong Chen is furious, although she feels scared in her heart, she is also a little happy at the same time. Looking for stimulation from time to time, it feels quite enjoyable. Have I been with Murong Chen for too long, and I'm starting to lose my mind? Mu Zi asked herself, and sighed, a person who is close to ink is black. When I arrived at Gu's house, I found that all kinds of luxury cars were parked outside. Wang Zilong, Zhuang Jia, and Zhang Xinyuan had already arrived, chatting and laughing outside the door, waiting for her to go in together. At 6 o'clock, the sky is dark and beautiful, and the sunset glow is as gorgeous as fire, reflecting in the sky like an abstract painting of ink and pastels. The Gu family's courtyard lawn was full of guests, mostly young men and women, and some elders gathered to talk. Waiters shuttled among them, music was cheerful, and the atmosphere was extremely lively. Not far away, there is a huge 21-story cake that is particularly gorgeous and eye-catching. The white sweet cream is layered on top of each other, forming a delicate and wonderful shape. If it's raining. Mu Zi looked at the cake and couldn't help murmuring. Zhuang Jia laughed out loud, and slapped Mu Zi on the back. Ha ha. You are so bad. Mu Zi smiled embarrassedly, she just thought of it casually. The birthday banquet was a buffet, so the four of them didn't need any special hospitality. They found their own seats, and chatted while eating and drinking. Every time a guest came to the gate of Gu's house, it caused a small boil. Because Gu Shao has a lot of face, he invited many celebrities over, and the children of rich families also chase after celebrities. When they see the celebrities they like, they must go up and talk to them. But the loudest eruption was when Gu Liang appeared. As the future head of the Gu family, he almost attracted the attention of the audience. Gu Shao happily ran over, hugged Gu Liang, and said, brother, you really did me a favor. You actually left work and came back to celebrate my birthday. Gu Liang smiled, glanced across the audience, found Mu Zi in an inconspicuous corner, and then calmly withdrew his gaze. At this time, exclamations suddenly erupted from the periphery. My God! Look! Huo Rong is here. The head of the Huo family is here. Why is he here? Oh my God, it's really Huo Rong. I've never seen him participate in this kind of banquet. Gu Yan had a look of astonishment, and then this look of astonishment turned into a huge surprise. He hugged Gu Liang again. Brother. You are really my brother. In order to help out on my birthday, even the head of the Huo family was invited. This is a shame. Gu Liang's eyes were deep, and he looked over lightly. You are wrong, this person came uninvited. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life. Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 643. Haha, Gu Yan laughed loudly. Brother, stop joking. The head of the Huo family came uninvited? How is this possible? He celebrated a small birthday, how could he alarm Huo wrong? During the entire birthday banquet, Gu Liang was the only one who could invite this giant Buddha. Gu Yan was in high spirits, and he and Gu Liang went forward with smiles all over their faces. Several uncles and elders of the Gu family also went over one after another. After exchanging greetings, the bodyguard beside Huo Rong presented a gift. Gu Yan was really elated. It doesn't matter what the gift is, what is important is that in Wenzhou, how many people can receive a gift from the head of the Huo family himself. This matter is enough for him to show off for a whole year. Huo Rong took off his sunglasses, revealing his evil black eyes, and said with a smile, "Second young master, happy birthday." Gu Yan was so excited that he was dying. Thank you, thank you. Master Rong is here, what a surprise. Gu Liang couldn't stand his younger brother's kneeling and licking virtue, so he glanced at him lightly, but Gu Yan didn't notice it, and continued to be excited. Gu Liang made an inviting gesture towards Huo Rong, please come inside. Naturally, such a distinguished guest should be invited in and entertained well. Huo Rong put on a relaxed attitude, and said with a light smile, young master Gu, go get busy, don't treat me specially, I'm here today just to have fun, relax and relax. Gu Yan's affection for Huo Rong immediately doubled. He has always thought that his elder brother is too rigid and serious, he only knows work and doesn't know how to entertain, but he himself started in the entertainment industry, and look at the owner of the family, he knows how to live, and also knows how to entertain. Master Rong, I specially invited the most popular overseas magician to help out today. You have fun, you must have fun, Gu Yan said. Is it John Kenil? Huo Rong smiled, he's great, and we invited him to the casino's anniversary celebration, the second young master is very discerning. You like him too? Gu Yan almost wanted to make Huo Rong his confidant, I like his show in Vienna the most. It was simply superb, with extraordinary imagination. The two walked and chatted, and some guests saw that Huo Rong was very friendly today, and they came forward to say hello one after another. Huo Rong smiled and chatted with all kinds of people calmly. Huo Rong's appearance was so eye-catching, Muzi Ai in the distance naturally also noticed it, the corners of her mouth slightly turned up, she smiled and said in distaste, like a big peacock, so ostentatious. Zizi, what are you talking about? Zhang Xinyuan didn't hear clearly, and asked strangely. Huh? It's okay, Muzi Ai smiled, I said Gu Er Shao's birthday party was very lively. Yeah, it's not the whole year's birthday, so it's so grand. Zhang Xinyuan didn't understand. Zhuang Jie, who was next to him, immediately came over, you don't know that, it was said that it was a birthday party, but it was actually specially arranged by Gu Shao so that Ning Yue could meet the young talents of the Gu family, didn't you find out? The half-brothers are almost all here. Ah, really? Ning Yue is like a princess, sitting among a group of ladies like stars holding the moon. She thought that Gu Liang was already the best man she had ever met, but she didn't expect that she would be lucky enough to meet the head of the Huo family today. He's so young, a celebrity next to her whispered with her friend. Yes, I heard that he is 3 or 4 years younger than young Master Gu. It's unprecedented to sit on the position of patriarch at such a young age. I always thought that the patriarch of the Huo family was an old man. He has no female companion. The women looked at the man in the distance, all of them blushed and their eyes were shining, especially when someone mentioned that Huo Rong didn't bring a female companion. Everyone showed eagerness on their faces. But because of his reserve, he hesitated to come forward to talk easily. That's the head of the Huo family. If there is a chance to make friends, who wouldn't want to try? Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 644. The two men in the crowd, one graceful and suave, the other gentle and elegant, have different temperaments, but are equally handsome and extraordinary, as if they can push back the prosperity of the world and eclipse everything around them. Whether it's their handsome faces or the power and money behind them, they all make women's hearts flutter. A self-sufficient and beautiful woman walked over holding a wine glass, with admiration in her eyes. However, just a little closer, she was stopped by the bodyguard sideways. The woman stood awkwardly 1 meter away from Huo Rong, looking at him for help. If there is even half a sympathy for her, she should be allowed to go there. But Huo Rong was talking with several uncles of the Gu family, and he didn't even look at her. At this time, people suddenly realized, Huo Rong is still the same Huo Rong. Even if he showed a friendly and casual appearance today, he was still ruthless. In the end, it was Gu Liang who rescued the lady, and said calmly, Gu Xian, there are many female customers today, go and entertain them. It turned out to be Miss Gu's family. It's Gu Yan's birthday today, and the Gu family is regarded as the master's family. No wonder they are so bold and directly bump into Huo Rong. Some women secretly laughed at Gu Xian for being overconfident, but at the same time they were glad that the person who walked past was not themselves, otherwise it would be too embarrassing. He's so indifferent. Yeah, not at all graceful. Young Master Gu is much better than him, at least it won't make people down. I heard that he killed many Huo family members before he took the position of patriarch. It's really cruel, humph, no wonder there is no female companion for this kind of person. Ning Yue's ears were filled with chattering discussions, and she couldn't help but curl her lips into a smile. What a group of women who can't eat grapes and say grapes are sour. To be able to sit in the position of patriarch, who doesn't have a few lives in his hand. Huo Rong wanted to find a female companion, and all the women in Wenzhou could choose with him. There is no female companion right now, which just shows that this man has a very high vision, which in turn arouses women's desire to conquer. Ning Yue stood up gracefully, gently swirled the rich wine in the glass, and walked slowly over. She immediately attracted all eyes. Everyone speculated, could this celebrity from Jingling make Huo Rong look different? Ning Yue was wearing a snow-white long dress with a tunic, her fragrant shoulders were half exposed, and a necklace of broken diamonds on her beautiful long neck. It was crystal clear and bright. The skirt fluttered slightly as she walked, like a holy and elegant white orchid. She's so beautiful. A woman sighed. Some women also sneered, she's just good at dressing up. In terms of appearance, there are many glamorous beauties among the celebrities and socialites present today, but in terms of temperament, few people can match Ning Yue. Ning Yue's demeanor was obviously trained strictly since she was a child, and her gestures carried a kind of pleasing beauty. Even if she did nothing, standing gracefully beside the flowers could still make people feel poetic. Ning Yue walked slowly to Gu Liang's side under everyone's amazed and curious eyes, and greeted with a smile, "Young Master Gu." Miss Ning. Gu Liang turned around and looked over, smiling gently, "Are you still used to living these few days?" "Second, young master took good care of me and arranged a lot of activities. I had a great time." Ning Yue's beautiful eyes flicked across Huo Rong, who was at the side, her eyes sparkling and moving. "Young Master Gu is not going to introduce me to you, is it?" She claims to be of noble birth, and only men have ever fawned on her, so she will not rush forward like Gu Xian. It is a good way to ask Gu Liang to be a bridge. Gu Liang is the host and has a cooperative relationship with Sidhu's family. It is very natural and a matter of course for her to introduce the guests at the banquet. Sure enough, Gu Liang didn't refuse, and introduced to her, this is the chairman of the Huo group, Huo Rong. At least 1/3 of the people in Wenzhou work in the subsidiaries of the Huo group, and they say that he is the emperor of Wenzhou. Not too much. Huo Rong narrowed his eyes slightly, this Gu Liang, praise him so hard, it's uneasy and kind. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 645. Standing in front of Huo Rong, Ning Yue half-jokingly said, Emperor? Then when I see the Emperor, wouldn't it be disrespectful to leave without asking an? She has a gentle smile, and her voice is soft and sweet, and her words are a little playful, yet dignified and quiet. Gu Liang introduced to Huo Rong, this is Ning Yue. She grew up in the presidential palace. Sidhu Yan in this general election is her uncle. Sidhu's family has a political background. There have been many famous senators and cabinet members in the family, and some have served as presidents, such as Sidhu Yan's grandfather. Therefore, it is not surprising that Ning Yue grew up in the presidential palace. Huo Rong's eyes flickered, and his eyes finally fell on Ning Yue, as if he was interested in her. Miss Ning's uncle, is Sidhu Yan. Yeah, the smile on Ning Yue's lips deepened. She enjoyed the halo that this identity brought to herself. I lived with my aunt since I was a child, and my uncle and aunt have no children, and they treat me like their own daughter. It shows her detached status in Sidhu's family. If Huo Rong is the emperor of Wenzhou, then she is the princess of Jingling. No matter how picky he is the princess not worthy of him? Ning Yue may not really like Huo Rong, but if this legendary figure in Wenzhou can bow down under her pomegranate skirt, of course it will add weight to her worth. She likes the way men are fascinated by her and flock to her. Huo Rong didn't seem to understand what she meant, nodded indifferently, looked up to the other side, and asked, is the magician going to perform? Ning Yue's face suddenly became ugly. The stunning beauty is standing in front of you, what kind of magic are you seeing? This embarrassment was only for a moment. Ning Yue quickly adjusted her smile, and followed Huo Rong's gaze into the distance. The audience was full of female guests, but Huo Rong ignored them all indifferently, didn't even look at her, but only talked to her. At least this point proved that she was far more successful than all the women present. At this point, the magic show begins. The lights on the lawn went out in an instant, a strong beam of light hit the center, and the sound of the music suddenly became urgent. A blonde magician appeared in front of everyone. He stepped on the beat with every step, like performing a musical, flipping his fingers to change out of thin air. Blossoming roses. These are just small tricks, and as the music rises and falls, the magician's performance becomes more and more gorgeous and dazzling. All the guests watched with gusto. Only Mu Ziyi looked past the guests and stared at Mu Rongcheng in the distance. Worried about Ning Yue, Zhuang Jie leaned over. Ning Yue came to marry the Gu family. If she dared to step on two boats, she would deliberately embarrass the Gu family and embarrass the Sidhu family. Don't worry, she don't dare to hook up with Master Rong. Mu Ziyi looked at Zhuang Jie in surprise. I knew it a long time ago. Zhuang Jie lowered her voice and whispered in her ear, last time you were drunk, I saw your boyfriend come to pick you up with my own eyes. Mu Ziyi blinked, subconsciously looking at Zhang Xinyuan. She doesn't know, Zhuang Jie said, then asked Mu Ziyi in a low voice, how do you know Master Rong? Mu Ziyi smiled embarrassingly. When you close your eyes and open them, you know. But she couldn't tell Zhuang Jie that. Zhuang Jie was suddenly excited, and stretched out her hand to pull Muse's arm. He's looking at you. He's looking at you. Mu Ziyi looked up, and saw Murong Cheng in the distance, hooked his thin lips, and with a happy smile, he hooked his fingers towards her. Because the guests around were all staring at the magician in the bright place, no one noticed the eyebrows between the two in the dark. "What do you mean?" Zhuang Jia was so excited that she tried her best to suppress herself from screaming. "What does he mean? Did he tell you to go over? Zizi, do you want to go over? Go over? Are you kidding me?" Mu Zi blushed slightly, grabbed Zhuang Jia's hand, turned her back and didn't look at Murong Cheng. "I don't know him at all." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life. Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 646. Zhuang Jia was both excited and nervous, and couldn't help but expect something to happen, but at the same time, she also knew that if Mu Zi really went over, it would definitely cause an uproar. That's Lord Wrong. To put it bluntly, even if Master Wrong farts, it will attract attention, let alone the relationship between the opposite sex that is most likely to attract people's imagination. If Mu Zi really passes by, chat with Hua Rong for a few more words, and he will immediately become a target of public criticism. You know, the position of the patriarch's wife is still vacant. Zhuang Jia's mood is tangled and contradictory. While expecting something to happen, at the same time worrying about what will happen to Mu Zi's personal safety after it happens. But Mu Zi was determined to pretend not to know her, and pulled Zhuang Jia far away, avoiding Murong Cheng's sight. The magic show lasted for a full 40 minutes. The whole process was very exciting, with constant highs and lows. At the end, everyone was a little bit unsatisfied. Gu Shao is good at eating, drinking, and having fun. His previous birthday parties were all about inviting a group of cronies, role-playing, striptease performances, and how to have fun. But today is different. To entertain guests today, in order not to embarrass the Gu family, Gu Shao didn't even have the nerve to find the old group of friends, planning to get together in private another day. The programs he prepared today are also very serious. After the magic show, Gu Shao arranged for a jazz singer to sing outside, and arranged games such as poker, dice, and board games inside, which can be said to be very healthy. Soon, the guests formed two distinct groups. One was the adult group who listened to jazz outside, and the other was the children group who played games inside. Young men and women get together. Guyan decides to play werewolf together. The advantage of this game is that no matter how many people there are, they can play together, and even if they don't know each other, they can play together, avoiding embarrassment and restraint. It has to be said that Guyan was quite thoughtful. "Let me watch from the side," Mu Zi said to Guyan. "I haven't played it before, let's see how you guys play first." "It's easy." Zhuang Jia pulled her to sit next to him. "There will be a judge at that time. The judge will kill if he wants to kill, and vote if he wants to vote. You will be able to do it in one game." Zhang Xinyuan didn't know how, so he sat down in a daze. Wang Zilong sat beside her and said, "I'll teach you later." In the end, a total of 13 people were gathered, and Guyan was of course the judge of the game, responsible for controlling the entire game process. He treated Ning Yue very preferentially. Before the game started, he specially explained the rules of the game to her. "No need, I've played it before." Ning Yue smiled gently. "The villagers have to identify all the werewolves during the day, the werewolves have to kill all the villagers at night, the prophets can verify their identities, and the witches have poison and antidote right." There were several younger brothers of Guyan on the table, who wanted to get closer to Ning Yue, and said, "Girls who play board games are rare these days. Many girls think that playing games is not doing their job properly. In fact, it is a misunderstanding of games. Like this board game, it is not only a competition of eloquence, but also a competition of analysis and judgment, which is very strategic, and you can't learn these things if you study and study every day. They praised Neng Yue in words, but invisibly suppressed Mu Zi and Zhang Xinyuan, who couldn't play games, which aroused the displeasure of Zhuang Jie, Wang Zilong, and others. Gu Yan was also annoyed in his heart, and thought, I am trying my best to invigorate the atmosphere here, these idiots are only trying to harm the atmosphere for me. Come on, the cards are dealt, Gu Yan yelled, assuming the posture of hosting the game. Everything is ready, it's about to start, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to play, let's play first, let's have fun today. 1, Athletics second. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 647. Among the 13 people, apart from Gu Yan who was a judge, the remaining 12 people were evenly distributed, 4 werewolves, 4 capable people, and 4 ordinary villagers. Mu Zi got a villager card. The villagers don't need to bother to kill people, nor do they need to find a way to find werewolves. It can be said that they are the most comfortable characters in the game. Gu Yan was also very kind, and specially adjusted the order of his speeches, placing Mu Zi and Zhang Xinyuan, who were playing Werewolf Killer for the first time, at the end. In this way, they can probably learn how to play by watching how the people in front of them speak. One person died in the first round, and because there was no clue, everyone laughed and casually identified it, and a villager died unjustly. In the second round, when it was Neng Yue's turn to speak, for some reason, she pointed her doubts at Mu Zi and Zhang Xinyuan. Number 11 and number 12 didn't speak at all in the last round. Although it may be because they played for the first time, they took a wait-and-see attitude, but they may also be werewolves and dare not speak out with a guilty conscience. Neng Yue smiled gently, and looked at Mu Zi and Zhang Xinyuan apologetically. Sorry, there are too few clues now, I can only speculate based on probability. Speaking in order, the one who spoke after Neng Yue was Gu Yan's younger brother Gu Cheng, who was also one of Neng Yue's admirers. He said solemnly, we have already lost 2 people. The prophet has not jumped out so far. Could it be that he was killed by werewolves in the first round? The second round is very critical. If the number of villagers is reduced, it is very likely let the werewolf win. I agree with Ms. Ning's point of view, the 11th and 12th are very suspicious, I hope everyone will identify one of them with us. Behind Gu Cheng was another young man surnamed Gu, who echoed Neng Yue's opinion. Seeing that the situation was unfavorable to Mu Zi and Zhang Xinyuan, Zhuang Jie and Wang Zilong were not happy, but their speaking order was out of order, so they couldn't speak for Mu Zi and the others. The villagers who were unjustly killed in the first round waved to Mu Zi, gloating, come and accompany me, haha. It's just a game, don't take it too seriously. Mu Zi is number 11, and she said with a smile, when I spoke just now, I noticed that number 7 and number 5 made eye contact. It was very strange. They didn't know each other before. The eye contact during the game shows that they belong to the same faction. And when number 2 spoke, both number 7 and number 5 listened very carefully, and number 8 echoed no 7's opinion. It is very likely that these 4 people are werewolves. I suggest that everyone identify number 2 together in this round, and then the witch poisoned number 5, and the guards please guard number 12 this round, because I think number 12 is a prophet, and this round should give clues. After she finished speaking, everyone at the table looked at her as if they had seen a ghost. Gu Yan's eyes were bigger than copper bells. Don't you know how to play? He asked. Mu Zi smiled, that's right, so I'm learning. Gu Yan was embarrassed and continued to host, please speak on the 12th. Zhang Xinyuan's number was at the bottom, exactly 12. I am a prophet. When Zhang Xinyuan finished speaking, everyone was shocked again. Mu Zi guessed it right? Then what she said just now, number 2, number 5, number 7, and number 8 are werewolves. Is it true? It can't be so accurate. Zhang Xinyuan was a little embarrassed. I got number 1 in the first round of testing, and number 2 in the second round of testing, and number 2 is a werewolf. The simple Zhang Xinyuan had no gaming experience, so the judge asked the prophet to test people, and she started to test people from the first, and fortunately the number of the werewolf was higher, otherwise she would not have known the year of the monkey. At the end of the second round of speeches, everyone looked at each other in blank dismay, feeling astonished as if someone forcibly spoiled the movie halfway through. It's only the second round, why are all 4 werewolves caught? Now that the prophet has experienced that number 2 is a werewolf, let's vote happily together. However, there are so few hands, which are very discordant, pointing at Mu Ziyi and Zhang Xinyuan. Maybe a werewolf pretending to be a prophet, Ning Yue said with a smile. She is number 7. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 648. According to the rules of the game, after the speech is over, it will go directly to the voting session, and it is not allowed to speak again. But she is Ning Yue, so of course she enjoys preferential treatment. Think about it, don't you? Maybe the 11th and 12th are 2 wolves, deliberately pretending to be prophets? Because of Ning Yue's last sentence, the votes changed, some voted for number 2, and the other voted for Mu Ziyi and Zhang Xinyuan. In the end, the judge counted the votes, and with a difference of 1 vote, he identified the number 2 werewolf. As soon as the number 2 werewolf's identity card was revealed, what Ning Yue did just now was undoubtedly to cover up her partner. Now, the game became no suspense. The villagers have won. Ning Yue patted her chest with lingering fear, and said with a smile, I was so nervous just now, I didn't expect to be discovered. After finishing speaking, she turned her head to look at Mu Ziyi. Miss Mu is so good, I thought I was pretending to be good, but you saw it right away, you are really a game master. Ning Yue smiled sweetly, as if she didn't bear any grudges about what she was accused of just now, which made people feel that she was gentle, generous, and well-bred. It's just luck, Mu Ziyi smiled. The young masters of the Gu family comforted Ning Yue one after another. Miss Ning has a straightforward personality, and it's normal that she can't play a werewolf well. Werewolves are hard to play. Yeah, werewolf is the hardest thing to play. You have to find a way to kill the right person and hide your expression. People who can play werewolf well are probably people with deep city walls. In this way, Ning Yue failed not because of her mistakes, but because of her simplicity. Zhang Xinyuan couldn't stand it any longer, and whispered to Mu Ziyi, are these people playing games, or chasing stars? Mu Ziyi couldn't help laughing. Zhang Xinyuan, a good girl, spits out occasionally, and her mouth is quite poisonous. In the second round of the werewolf killing game, Mu Ziyi got the villager card again. She curled her lips, a little disappointed. In fact, she really wanted to play a werewolf once. This time the werewolf knife was very accurate, killing the prophet in the first game. Without a proven prophet, everyone can only rely on guesswork, and the speeches at a time are messy, with various opinions. Ning Yue pointed the contradiction at Mu Ziyi again. Ms. Mu's observation skills are subtle. She guessed everyone's identities correctly in the last game. This time, the prophet died at the beginning of the game. Therefore, I still doubt Miss Mu. Ning Yue said to Mu Ziyi with a smile, Mu miss, don't be surprised, I saw you pouted when the cards were dealt just now. Did you get a werewolf card, so you were worried? People after Ning Yue almost all thought that Mu Ziyi was a werewolf. Mu Ziyi was not always so good. When it was her turn to speak, she listed 2 suspicious people, but in the end they were voted out by Ning Yue and her crazy fans. Ah, I made a mistake seeing that Mu Ziyi's card was a villager. Ning Yue expressed apology, I'm so sorry, Miss Mu. It's just a game. No one has clairvoyance, so it's inevitable that they will be wrong. Someone comforted her again. Muzi glanced at Ningyue lightly, smiled lightly, and said nothing. However, in the subsequent games, Muzi was always eliminated in the first round. Either he was feared by the werewolf and eliminated by a knife, or Ningyue led the rhythm and voted out. Zhuangqie, Zhang Xinyuan, and Wang Zilong were all angry, but they couldn't say anything. After all, when playing this kind of game, everyone will have a similar mentality: kill the master first. If Muzi loses her temper because of this, it will make people think that she is petty. As a game judge, Guyan felt very embarrassed and specially invited Muzi over, but ended up getting angry. In the new round, without any suspense, Muzi was voted out again in the first round. Miss Mu, you are really good at playing games. If you are a werewolf, we will definitely not be able to win. Don't mind me, Ningyue explained softly. Muzi smiled, and turned over her cards. This time she happened to be a werewolf. Oh, fortunately Miss Ning has the foresight. It's right to vote for number 11 in the first round. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life. Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 649. Whether Ningyue voted wrong or right, the young masters of the Gu family flattered her as always. In fact, Muzi doesn't hate Ningyue. Ningyue is gentle and dignified, she speaks softly, she is a very beautiful lady, although she occasionally shows arrogance, but she comes from the presidential palace. Isn't it normal to be a little arrogant? Besides, most of the ladies are expensive. Who has no temper? Of course, if Ningyue didn't intentionally target Muzi would continue not to hate her. I'm going to the bathroom. Muzi got up, asked the servant beside her where the bathroom was, then turned and walked out of the hall. After she died in the first round of the game, she had nothing to do, and she was sitting in a daze, which was boring. When Muzi left, Ningyue seemed a little nervous, looked at everyone, and asked, Miss Mu won't be angry, right? Isn't that how we play werewolves? If she gets angry, she's too narrow-minded, someone said. Wang Zilong choked impatiently. Why, after being killed more than a dozen times in a row, you still have to stay here with a smile on your face and continue to kill? You can't even leave. The young master of the Gu family was displeased, and was about to say a few words in reply. When he saw that it was Wang Zilong, he swallowed back the words on his lips. In the Gu family, only Gu Liang is the most precious, and the other young masters are worthless, so they dare not compete with the Huo family's manager Xiao Wang. Forget it, let's not play. Zhuang Jia got up irritably. I'm going to eat. Xinyuan, will you go? Zhang Xinyuan nodded, and Wang Zilong also stood up. After such a commotion, the number of people suddenly decreased by 4, and if they want to play again, they have to reassign the roles. It's okay, let's continue playing. Come on, the cards have been dealt again. Guyan tried his best to stir up the atmosphere, but he felt extremely embarrassed. Today is his birthday, and the scene is so tense, it's like slapping him in the face. Thinking about it this way, Guyan couldn't help but have some opinions on Ningyue. This Miss Ning doesn't want to suffer even if she plays a game, and she's too difficult to serve. Muzi came out of the bathroom, thinking that the game on the other side would not end so soon, so she didn't rush there, and went straight to the lawn outside to get some air. The jazz singer's performance has ended, but the music is still melodious. Musa looked at the giant cake outside and thought, what a pity, it's so big and no one eats it, so it's just a decoration? Someone approached from behind, with a smile in his voice. Beauty, your back looks a lot like my girlfriend. Muzi turned to look at him, neither laughing nor laughing. What are you going to do? Murong Cheng acted as if it was real. He was surprised. Again? Did we really meet before? Was it in a dream? Muzi I almost burst out laughing, complaining that Murong Cheng has so many tricks. Since he loves to act, she can act with him. Sir, your approach to strike up a conversation is too old-fashioned. Muzi I deliberately ignored him, turned around and walked to the side. Murong Cheng strode forward with his long legs, followed unhurriedly, and continued, "Your earrings are very beautiful. Did your boyfriend give them to you?" "Yes, Muzi I said, so don't pester me anymore. My boyfriend is very jealous. If he finds out, he will definitely punish you severely." "It doesn't matter." Murong Cheng raised his arm and put it on Muzi I's shoulder naturally. "As long as you are willing to be my girlfriend, I don't mind." Muzi I glanced at the hand on the shoulder, tilted her head slightly, and squinted at him. "What good does it do for me to be your girlfriend?" Murong Cheng asked back, "What benefits do you want?" "Make money to support the family, wash and cook, beat and scold at will." Muzi I challenged. "Can you do it?" "Het." Murong Cheng laughed, his arm around her tightened, and he said coldly, "There is nothing in this world that I can't do." Snapped. Suddenly there was a small sound. Muzi I and Murong Cheng turned their heads to look at the same time, and saw that the people who were playing werewolf in the hall were all standing at the door at some point. Guyan looked at them blankly, and the cards in his hand spilled all over the floor. Behind Guyan, everyone was stunned. "Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again." Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 650. When Muzi I and Murong Cheng turned their heads, they realized that they were surrounded. Maybe it was because the sound of the music covered up the movement behind them, maybe it was because the two of them were too relaxed just now. In short, neither of them could notice in time. Muzi I was extremely embarrassed. Did she think she didn't die enough times? In front of so many people, to make demands on the dignified patriarch of the Huo family, to earn money to support the family, to wash and cook, to beat and scold at will. How dare you say it? Muzi I just wants to dig a hole right now and bury herself. She had never been so humiliated. Murong Cheng hugged her, not letting go at all. "I have seen it all, so is it possible to tell a lie to hide it? Even if you tell a lie, people may not believe it." "What are you looking at?" Murong Cheng generously put his arms around Muzi I's shoulders, and said, "Have you never seen Chasing a Girlfriend?" A group of people were speechless. "Of course I have, but I haven't seen Rong yet chasing after her." Murong Cheng thought that the acting was already halfway through, so let's continue acting. He lowered his head and asked Muzi I, "How about it? Think about it, let me be your boyfriend." Muzi I's face was red. She broke away from him and turned around to leave, not wanting to stay any longer. "Are you leaving?" Murong Cheng followed her leisurely. "I'll take you home, you can continue to think about it on the way, I'm very sincere." The two left one after the other, leaving behind a group of dumbfounded people. After a long time, someone murmured, "Who is that girl?" When playing the game, I only introduced the surname Mu, but I didn't know what family background it was. Now that he has climbed to the Huo family, he is afraid that he will be prosperous from now on. "You look pretty." Another commented. "Can Master Rong's eyesight be bad?" Guyan came back to his senses, and taught the person who spoke just now, "Superficial. Ms. Mu is not only beautiful, but also very smart. Do you know the king of criminal investigation in the procuratorate? That's the one. His name is Yu Yang, and he was once a defeated under Miss Mu. When it comes to Muzi I, no one knows about her, but Yu Yang's reputation is not small." Guyan said again, "Do you know Ming Jun Law Firm?" "Lawyer Chu, you always call Ms. Mu's sister, is she great?" "Ming Jun Law Firm is so famous that it has been in the headlines several times." Someone mentioned that Muzi I is the goddess of the top school in Grey School. She has always been the number one in the rankings, and she is about to take part in the judicial examination. Beautiful, smart, capable. For a while, everyone was talking about Muzi. Even the two young masters of the Gu family who had been flattering Ningyue just now were amazed. She took part in the judicial examination at the age of 17. She must be the youngest judicial examinee in history, right? What kind of IQ is this? It's too scary. No wonder when we were playing werewolf killing just now, we found out the werewolf all at once. It turns out that this is what they do. I'm sorry, she was killed several times by us, but luckily she wasn't angry. If Master Wrong knew they did this while playing games, would he trouble them? Several young people thought about this, and their faces turned pale at the same time. While their hearts were trembling with fear, they couldn't help but cast a complaining look at Ningyue. It's just that this point of complaint is minimal, and they don't dare to be too obvious. After all, Ningyue is the daughter of the Situ family, and they also dare not offend. Ningyue stood in the crowd, the smile on her face was almost unbearable. She was born noble, beautiful, and was raised as a princess since she was a child. She not only learned piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting, but also received the strictest etiquette training. Even if there are many dignitaries in Jingling City, she is always the most shining focus. Why did Xinjiang, which is full of copper smell, become a foil for others? And that Huo Rong. It's all because of that Huo Rong. Because Huo Rong pursued Muzi in public, these people would look at Muzi differently. Ningyue felt resentful in her heart.